Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate, my fellow Americans, my un-Americans that are American. We got the red, white, and blue, and we got a bunch of weapons. Let's go.
Alright, so it doesn't get more America than the red, white, and blue sporting a truckload of weapons. So first up, this is an equipment build. So we're going super wide with equipments, and we have a ton of payoffs that give us value based off of that. So, we've got Cryptic Coat. 1 blue and 2 for an artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, you get to cloak the top card of your library, which turns it into a face-down 2/2 creature with Ward 2. The equipped creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. And you can also return Cryptic Coat to your hand by paying 1 blue and 1. So what's cool about this is it's a way to recursively create creatures over and over and over again for our equipments to equip if we run out of bodies, which is really, really nice against control especially, but also giving unblockable is kind of insane. And when you start just loading a bunch of other equipment on top of your unblockable mobile weapons platform, it can become really crazy and just win the game kind of out of nowhere, which is super fun. We're also using Assimilation Aegis. Now what I love about this card is it's the first equipment, or at least the first equipment in a very long time, that is removal that is still an equipment. And that matters. That matters. We'll get to why that matters in a little bit, but this is 3 mana, 1 blue, 1 white, and 1. When it enters the battlefield, you exile any creature until Assimilation Aegis leaves the battlefield, and then when it becomes attached to a creature, for as long as it remains attached to that creature can become a copy of whatever you exiled. So you can do things like exile the opponent's Sheoldred and turn one of your little chumps into, you know, a Sheoldred, which is really, really awesome. Especially when you combine that with the fact that we're running a Mirrex. If we happen to get Mirrex tokens, and we can just continually turn, you know, a fresh Mirrex token into whatever big thing that we exiled with the Aegis, that's really fun. It is worth noting that the way Assimilation Aegis and Cryptic Coat works together is weird and interesting. So if you equip the face-down creature that Cryptic Coat creates by cloaking a card with the Assimilation Aegis, it will turn the card into a copy of the creature, but it won't be front side up. So the bottom of the card will now be a copy of whatever Assimilation Aegis removes. So for example, say you remove a Sheoldred with Assimilation Aegis, and then you play a Cryptic Coat, and the top card of your deck is a Mirrex, right? And you exile a Mirrex under the Cryptic Coat, it becomes a face-down 2/2 Ward 2 creature, but it's a Mirrex on the bottom side. If you then equip that creature with the Assimilation Aegis that exiled a Sheoldred, it's not going to be a Mirrex on the bottom side anymore. It's going to be a Sheoldred on the bottom side. So it won't change, you know, the face down creature that you have that's a 2/2 Ward 2 without a creature type. It's not going to turn that into Sheoldred. It's just going to be effectively the same 2/2 Ward 2 with the Cryptic Coat on it. But you'll get the ability to then flip the card face up by paying Sheoldred's cost, and it will become a Sheoldred. And then if at any time you move the Assimilation Aegis onto a different creature, the card that you turn face up will stop being the Sheoldred and turn into whatever the card actually was. So if it was a Nahiri, all of a sudden it's a Nahiri on the battlefield, you know? Say it was another Assimilation Aegis, all of a sudden you have another Assimilation Aegis on the battlefield that didn't enter the battlefield and remove a creature, which is kind of eh. So you have to be very careful how you use Assimilation Aegis in conjunction with face-down creatures from Cryptic Coat. Sometimes it can be super valuable, get you access to things that you might not otherwise be able to do, but sometimes it can kind of whiff. So be very careful. That being said, whatever you remove with the Assimilation Aegis, like I said, the might tokens and some of the other smaller creatures that we have as, you know, just basically platforms to equip things to, serve as really good targets for the Assimilation Aegis. So it is still really good in this deck with that second ability, turning things into copies. You just have to be careful how you play it. We're also running Lavaspur Boots. 1 mana, equips for 1. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and haste and ward 1. This is a really important card because it can just give anything we play haste. If we get to a point where we're late gaming with control and we're playing Cryptic Coat every turn, being able to make sure the Cryptic Coat that we're playing each turn then gets equipped with the Lavaspur Boots for just 1 mana and can immediately swing in, forces our opponent to have to constantly have removal and have to constantly have instant speed removal. So if you get to a point where you're mid to late game and you're able to just keep getting value out of the Cryptic Coat, Lavaspur Boots is a good way to take that value and just turn it up to 11, make sure it always has haste, make sure it's always more expensive to remove because of the ward 1, which in conjunction with the Cryptic Coat creature, it's going to be a total of ward 3, which can be really awesome. So these are really cool. I talked about earlier how this being a piece of removal that counts as an equipment is really important, and the reason for that is because we have Kellan the Fae-Blooded, which has an adventure attached, 1 white and 1 for Birthright Boon, allows you to search your library for an aura or equipment card, reveal it, and then put it into your hand and shuffle. So that's a tutor for an equipment, and we were never able to use that tutor effect to fetch removal before. But now that we have Assimilation Aegis as removal, we can play a much more control-oriented equipment deck and use Kellan's Birthright Boon to search out removal in situations where we might need it, which makes that as a tutor way more powerful than it used to be, which is really nice. And then also, you know, Kellan himself is a 2/2 double striker that when he's equipped, all other creatures get +1/+0 for each aura and equipment attached to him. So really, really good as a closer, and just good as card advantage value because you're playing the adventure and then playing him as a closer. You're getting whatever the adventure fetched. Sometimes it's removal if that's what you need, but other times it could be some of the one-offs in the deck, and we do have a bunch of one-offs. So let's start at the bottom of the curve and go over the rest of the cards. We are playing 4 Dire Flail because it is a 1 mana equipment that equips for just 1 mana and gives a +2 buff, which is huge. We're also running 4 Rabbit Batteries because it is a 1/1 for 1 with haste that is also a 1 mana equipment that equips for 1 and gives anything +1/+1 and haste. Those in conjunction with the 4 Lavaspur Boots gives us 8 cards in the deck that can give haste. And then we've got 1 Eater of Virtue because it's legendary, gives a equipped creature +2/+0, and also if the equipped creature dies, if it has a keyword ability, Eater of Virtue is going to pick up the ability to give whatever creature it equips next that keyword ability, which is super important with things like haste from Rabbit Battery or the double strike from Kellan. There's a few other really cool things we can do with that. And then we've got 1 Lost Jitte because this is another one that's a legendary. But if we have it on the battlefield, we can equip it for just 1 mana, we play it for just 1 mana, and then every time we deal combat damage, we add a counter to it. We get to take off counters, as many as we want, add instant speed whenever we want, and each one we take off, we can untap a land, or make it so target creature can't block, or put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. There's a lot of versatility with that, especially if we're untapping lands to just ramp out even more stuff. It can get pretty crazy. But also just making it so a creature can't block so we can get in for the win the turn that we need to Alpha Strike is really important. Now, even though we're running just 1 Lost Jitte and 1 Eater of Virtue because they're legendary, I gotta remind you guys that we have Birthright Boon, right? So for 2 mana, we can search up any of our 1-drops. So that makes all of the 1-drops in this deck sort of feel like 4-drops because we have the 1 copy and then 3 tutors. Whatever's best for the situation is what we're going to grab with the Birthright Boons. So it's really important to keep that in mind, and that kind of justifies why there are so many 1-ofs in this deck. But it's important to also note that we have a total of 14 1-drops because consistently, statistically, that means we're likely to have one on turn 1 and a second one by turn 3 in case we have to play a 2-drop and a 1-drop, or in case we have to play a 1-drop equipment and then attach our first equipment and the turn 3 1-drop equipment the same turn. We have enough mana to do that. So it's It's very carefully calculated how many 1-drop equipments that we have in order to get the most value on curve out of everything that we're doing. But moving on to the 2-drop slot, we've got 4 Barbed Batterfists, because it creates a token when we play it that the opponent has to deal with on curve. It helps us keep decent tempo, but even when they do deal with it, we get to keep the equipment to use it to buff up things in the future, and also count towards our equipment synergies, of which we have a good amount in the deck. So Barbed Batterfist, perfect in this deck. We're also going to run 1 𝐽𝑒𝑠𝑘𝑎𝑑een, another legendary. It's a 2/2 trample for 2. When he's equipped, just when he attacks at all, he gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of equipped creatures that you control. And then if his power is 4 or greater, draw a card. So what's cool about 𝐽𝑒𝑠𝑘𝑎𝑑een is even if he's the only creature on the board or the only creature equipped, you equip him with something like a Rabbit Battery or a Lavaspur Boots, he gets the +1 attack from either of those and the haste from either of those, and then swings and gets the other +1 attack from his ability, and he does become a 4-power creature. So he can turn himself on with just one of those +1 power equipments equipped to just him without anything else on the board. So he can be really good, but again, he's a legendary, and we're trying to fit as many equipment in this deck as possible for some of our go-wide synergies that require a lot of equipment. So we are just going with 1, and in similar fashion, we're just using 1 Kemba here, 2 mana for a 2/2. When he enters the battlefield, we get to attach. Welcome to Dog. Where was I? Right, Kemba, Kha Enduring. When it enters the battlefield, you get to attach any equipment to it automatically, which is awesome. It also triggers whenever another cat enters the battlefield, which is sometimes useful, not as useful in this deck, but you do have a mana sink here so that if it's late game, you can pay 5 mana, make a 2/2 cat creature token, and then it'll trigger the Kemba's ability, and you can get an equipment attached to it for free, which is nice. But what really makes this card great is equipped creatures you control get +1/+1. So it's a nice 2-mana lord that saves you some mana in that you don't need to pay the equip cost of the first thing that becomes equipped to it, and then helps you buff up your team. Really nice as a 1-of if you happen to get it, but like I said, it is legendary, so we don't want to run too many of these. I'd rather run 1 of each of the legendaries instead of, you know, a playset of just 1 of them. And then we've also got 1 Citizen's Crowbar, because it's another artifact equipment that we can search up with the Birthright boon if we need to. That gives us access to artifact and enchantment removal. It makes a 1/1 token when it enters the battlefield, so it's another way of giving us a creature that we can load a bunch of equipment onto, while also giving us that 1-of card to search up to get the ability to pay 1 white, tap, sacrifice the Crowbar, destroy any artifact or enchantment. So it's really nice having that as kind of a silver bullet tutor target to search up with the Birthright boon. And in similar fashion, we have 1 Lizard Blades as an artifact creature equipment here. It is a 1/1 double striker for 2 on its own, but it counts as an equipment, so we can search it up with the Birthright boon, and then if we reconfigure it, pay 2 and attach it to another creature, it'll give that creature double strike. So it's a nice way to tutor up a 1-off way of giving anything we want double strike, if that's sort of a scenario that we're in where we can win the game if we do have double strike. So a lot of versatility in what we can tutor up with Birthright boon. And then on the backside, getting access to Kellan is really, really nice. And then to go alongside our 4 copies of Assimilation Aegis, we also have 4 Rebel Salvo. That gives us a lot of control in this deck that we can very efficiently deal with whatever the opponent is curving out with. So this is a 3 mana instant, 1 red and 2, but it has affinity for equipment, and we're almost always going to have at least 2 equipment on the field very quickly, as early as turn 2. So this is almost always going to be just a 1 red mana instant, and it deals 5 damage to any creature or planeswalker at instant speed for just that 1 red mana if we have the 2 equipment out. So really, really good removal in a deck that's really wide with equipment, and this deck is, so it is the perfect slot for something like this. And now that we have the Assimilation Aegis, they go together really well to make a nice control shell that we can sort of just build value over time and use these control elements to just keep the opponent at bay so that we could stay alive long enough to get all of the value out of all of our equipment. We've also got 1 Bladehold War-Whip, because we can search it up with that Birthright boon, and it has 4 Mirrodin, so when we play it, it is going to make a 2/2 creature token. Costs 3 mana, 1 white, 1 red, and 1, and it equips for a whopping 1 red, 1 white, and 3, so that is really, really expensive. But we're not necessarily playing this card to equip to other creatures. The reason this card is so good is that as long as it's on the battlefield, all of our equip costs cost 1 less to activate. So having our 1 Bladehold War-Whip out gives us access to things like equipping Jitte, or Eater of Virtue, or Dire Flail for 0 mana, or re-equipping our Batterfist for 0 mana. Like, so many of our equipments go down to 0 equip cost, which means we can just shuffle them around the field multiple times a turn without paying any mana at all. And then even our more expensive equipments get a cost reduction so that we can just do more in a turn. So sometimes, if we're super wide with a bunch of equipment that can get this cost reduction, tutoring up the War-Whip, slamming it down, and being able to move way more equipment around in a single turn than we should be able to can be absolutely backbreaking for the opponent. And then the last card we have here is 1 Nahiri Forged in Fury. And honestly, this is a card that I would consider, even though it's legendary, running multiple copies of, possibly even replacing something like Kemba or Kadeen, because it's just so good. It's a 5/4 with affinity for equipment, so if you have 4 equipment out, it is just 1 white and 1 red for a 5/4, just 2 mana, which is nuts. And then whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, you get to exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn no matter what, and then you may cast equipment spells this way without paying their mana costs. So kind of an insane amount of value. You slam it, and every single creature is going to pretty much be equipped. So every single creature that you happen to have alive still on the battlefield can now swing, trigger this ability, and because the majority of the stuff that you're going to be hitting off the top is equipment anyway, you can almost cast everything, and if you happen to hit like a card that isn't equipment, you can still play it, you know, by paying the mana cost. So just an insane amount of card advantage on the back of a really, really cheap, aggressive threat, as long as you're going wide enough with equipment. So another one of the really good reasons why we want to go super wide with equipment, and why we want like 14 1-drops that are all equipment. So yeah, that's the deck. We do have to be very careful with the mana base so that we can curve out effectively. So we've got just 1 Soakins in as far as the monocolored legendary lands are concerned, because it's another way for us to potentially get bodies to pile our equipment on. But in addition to that, we've got the 1 Mirrex to make tokens for equipment, and then outside of that, everything is just dual lands because we need access to as much of our colors as possible. So 4 Inspiring Vantage, 3 Battlefield Forge, 3 Stormcarved Coast, 3 Spirebluff Canal, 2 Seachrome Coast, and 4 Deserted Beach rounded out. Honestly, deck's pretty cool. Better than I expected. I think there's probably another version of this deck that we can evolve this into that might be a little bit better with some experimenting, but even this base version of the deck is pretty cool as it is, and it's Jeskai. So like, I don't know, America. Let's check out the games. Alright, this looks decent. We can keep it. We'll start with Soakins in so we can play Rabbit Battery. Kadeen on 2. Let's see what you got. Mono green, huh? I think we have a decent chance against mono green. I think we do. Do a little bit of this. And we'll do some swinging. Draw a card. I think we put down the Dire Flail. I want to keep the Rabbit Battery as secret. And also, I don't think we need to worry about killing things at instant speed on his turn enough to hold up the Rebel Salvo. I think I'd rather just have the Dire Flail out. Polukranos. I mean, just do this. And he scoops. That seems fine. Alright, this hand looks okay. We'll keep it. It is very removal heavy, for sure. And we're going to have to lean into that. We're going to start with a Stormcarved Coast. We want to get as much red mana online as quick as possible. And we definitely want to play a turn 2 Batterfist. Alright, Inspiring Vantage. Play the Batterfist. So next turn we could play Dire Flail, equip it, swing, and hold up a 1 mana Rebel Salvo. Or we could just play a Cryptic Coat. Path of Peril to kill 1 creature. Yowza. Well, I think we'll play the Cryptic Coat. Seems fine. Now that you used up your sweeper, that means he's got to be out of targeted removal. And since we have Ward, even if he top decks targeted removal, he's going to be in a bad spot. If he had saved the sweeper, he'd be able to kill the Ward creature a lot easier. He might be out of luck. Plays a Candy Trail. Gummy worms are delicious. $420, huh? How American can you get? Let's see. We've got you. You seem kind of... eh? Kind of just want to kill him. Let's just swing for 6. It's gonna be really hard for him to deal with that. He could use spot removal. It ends up taking up his pretty much his whole turn, if he does. Okay, he's got another sweeper. But forcing him to use his sweepers to take out 1 creature at a time is kind of awesome. We're gonna hold on to 𝐽𝑒𝑠𝑘𝑒. We want him to run out of removal before we play it, if possible. Alright, we'll attach this here. Unfortunately, we don't have any of our equipment that gives haste, but it is what it is. Plays a lockdown. Oh god. At least we still keep our Cryptic Coat. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. We're gonna pass. I want to keep up the option between playing Rebel Salvo or returning the coat to our hand. The end. The end. Okay. Well, I guess I know what we're doing. Like, his entire deck is removal. Kind of okay with that. Like, what does he even name with the Stone Brain? 𝐽𝑒𝑠𝑘𝐑? We don't have any more 𝐽𝑒𝑠𝑘𝐑. What a waste of a Stone Brain. Good grief. We'll just play the Cryptic Coat. Keep forcing him to deal with his stuff one at a time. And then we should be golden after that. Edict, sure, it's fine. We'll just keep going, that's the entire point. Right? Although right now, I kind of want to do this. Birthright Boon. I just want a rabbit battery. Nothing crazy. Just a rabbit battery. Keep putting the pressure on since he's very low on cards. I think that's the one problem with 𝑊ℎ𝑖𝐍𝐵 control. They don't have a lot of card advantage. Alright. He ends my rabbit battery. That's fine. That's fine. We have plenty of value left in the deck. We do have no haste, though. I think I'm just going to play my Kellan. Equip the Eater so that if he kills the Kellan, the Eater will start giving things double strike. Well, that was a mistake. He should not have let me equip it. Now we can give things double strike. Which is awesome. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, baby. We'd be hitting for 12. Hold up Rebel Salvo. That seems about right. We could play out the Dire Flail. But I think holding up the Rebel Salvo is good. He's in a very difficult position right now. He has to take care of this Kemba. Right now. And he did. Oh wait, he was just gonna die to the sweeper anyway. Why did I play the Rebel Salvo? I guess I was just excited to finally have something to play the Rebel Salvo on. Just do it like this. And like this. And we'll swing for 4. Just like every single turn we're playing one thing that we are forcing him to deal with, no matter what. Sure. And I mean, so far he's able to do it. But he's not going to be able to forever. You know? We're going to Birthright Boon. We're going to find... What do we want? We need to get a creature onto the field, right? So probably just Lizard Blades. Our 1 Lizard Blades. Very effective blocker against the mites. Forces him to have to come up with removal again, which he does again. Jeez, he's top decks removal every turn. What does this deck do against other control decks that aren't playing creatures every turn? I don't even know. It seems crazy. Do we even need the double strike? I guess it's still worth it anyway. Let's hit for 10. We don't want to give up a single opportunity to attack because he mostly just top decks removal and uses it. So any turn, when we get one turn where he doesn't top deck removal, and he doesn't kill a creature, we need to make sure we're using that to our advantage and actually getting through for damage, because it's not going to happen very often. That's why I didn't swing at Liliana. Oh, okay. Farewell.
We all have things we value.
Farewell. Make a might token. Attach to the might token. We're going to use this opportunity to get rid of Liliana, though. Even though that contradicts what I just got done saying. Now that we have Mirrex, we can just make a creature every turn and constantly have something to equip our equipment to, so not as worried. But we want to hold on to our card advantage, so getting Lily off the field so that she can't uptick or downtick and kill our might, I think is important. Goes to 7, gets a kiln, makes some boys. They're 2/2s. Unfortunate. Thinking. Like, we definitely make a might token. If we want to swing with it, we have to move the Lavaspur Boots over. So I don't think we do. We just do this. And swing with this one and force him to block. And then just get a head start on next turn by already having this equipped. Probably gonna have to save this Rebel Salvo to kill whatever he brings back. Which will most likely be... I guess Lizard Blades is really the only thing he can bring back, huh? Force him to trade. Put him at 5. We will re-equip here. End the turn. Hold up Rebel Salvo. This is so close. Gaining more life. Wandering Emperor.
Anyone who harms my people must contend with me.
That's not good. We're gonna have to use Rebel Salvo on that. Alright, so he goes up to 10.
I am almost sad.
We'll jam you. Give it haste. It already has unblockable. And swing in for 6. And now, once again, he absolutely has to kill the creature. Except this time we've got a coat. And we've got plenty of mana, so we return it to our hand and replay it and re-give it haste. I think we just got him. I think we just got him. Alright, hit for 4. Let's see. Do we got him? The end. Make him pay it so that he can use less mana to make Mirrex tokens. He is playing very smart, though. I will give him that. We play the coat. Makes a Mirrex token. We're gonna go and equip the boots here. And then we're gonna end the turn. Probably Rebel Salvo the Lizard Blades right here. He has to kill this guy though, because he's unblockable. We got him. Yes. This looks fine. We've got some early plays. We've got Rabbit Battery. We're gonna keep it. And we don't have any white sources, so... Trying to think of the best way to curve this out. I guess we just start with the Vantage and get in for one. Rot Priest, huh? Alright, so Stormcarved Coast on 2. I guess we probably play the Lavaspur Boots. And no attack. I think we end up dropping the Barbed Batterfist as a chump blocker. Although we've got a 𝐽𝑒𝐿𝐴 now. Interesting. Well, I think we definitely play the 𝐽𝑒𝐿𝐴. Question is, do we equip it with the Lavaspur Boots? Or do we play a Dire Flail? I guess the boots make sense, right? Problem is we need to kind of be aggressive to make that work. And the poison deck is painful. So we might have to chump block the Slaughter Stinger. It'll probably be worth it though. Probably fine. It's probably fine. Just hold off the poison. Try to race him. Now, do we play the Barbed Batterfist and one of our 1-drops? Or do we just play the Cryptic Coat? Kind of a difficult decision, actually. I think it's better to probably do this for now. Just get out as much as possible. Actually, if we had played the 𝐽𝑒𝐿𝐴, equipped the 𝐽𝑒𝐿𝐴, swung with 𝐽𝑒𝑚, we could have untapped a land and still played a Batterfist, so I think that would have been the right play. We do a little bit less damage, but our mana gets used a little bit more efficiently. Alright, so we hit for 5, put him at 10. We just have to try to race him and not target his creatures with things. So, Rebel Salvo, I don't know, buddy. Although, if we can trade our token here for the Rot Priest, we can follow up by salvoing the Stinger. Or the Singer, sorry. So I think we're going to try and trade with the Rot Priest. We'll see what he does. he has something that buffs the toughness by 1, I'm gonna be really sad. Because we could have blocked the Slaughter Singer. Okay, that's fine. That is understandable. Alright, so we're at 4. I wonder if we just Rebel Salvo anyway? I don't think there's any way to give this haste. Alright, we'll go like this. Let's see what we hit off the top here. Looks like a deserted beach. Alright, we're gonna equip the Jitte to 𝑇𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ. I can't talk today. 𝑘'deen and swing with the first Gold Warden himself. Hit for 5. We have lethal next turn. We're gonna hold up this salvo. Because I know he's holding up a protection spell. Can he give us 6 poison counters this turn? Or kill both of our creatures? This one's going to be unblockable and can be buffed to high hell with our equipment, so we've got that going for us. Spartak. This is Spartak. I need nectar. Pass. One, 2, 3. Can he get 3 more poison counters? Probably not. No blocks. Let's see what he does. Because I mean, we're just gonna win next turn. Tyvar's stand, sure. And he's dead, right? He's just dead. Do a little bit of this. Do a little bit of this. Do a little bit of this. And he's toast. Nice. Alright, this looks pretty decent. We'll keep it. Let's see. We Soakens in on 1 and Rabbit Battery. Kemba on 2. Seems really good. Is he gonna hit the Kemba? If he realizes how good of a play the Kemba is, he'll hit the Kemba. But he might just hit the Assimilation Aegis, thinking, oh, protect my bat. We'll see. We shall see.
Make a decision. Take a chance.
Come on onto the coast, have a few laughs. Didn't take the Kemba. This man is out of his mind. Smash. Smash. Alright, he can no longer be cut down. He's going to have to use substantial removal on it. That's going to take at least 2 of his 3 mana up. Ooh, and he doesn't. He just doesn't. Do we just swing for 6? I feel like we kind of have to Kellan, right? Let's just swing. Try and get in for 4. If we do end up putting more equipment on him, we give him extra value if he does have the removal. So let's Birthright Boon. And find something that grants haste. Or, let's see, what are we in? Esper? Esper Control or something? We could just grab a Cryptic Coat for repeated value. I think the haste is going to be really important, though. I'm just going to grab a Lavaspur Boots. We shall see. That way we can play Kellan, play our 4th land, equip the Lavaspur Boots, swing with both. The battery will get a buff. Life will be good. Got another removal spell? No? Wandering Emperor, maybe? But we've got Ward now, so the best you can do is exile the Rabbit Battery. Alright, he's gonna do the 𝐻𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿. I mean, that's fine. If he has to use all 4 of his mana and his 𝐻𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 to get rid of the Kellan, like, that gives us a crazy tempo advantage. So I'm not even worried about it. I am not even worried about it. Bro. Let's get some value. Birthright Boon. Probably still has a Wandering Emperor, right? I'll try it like this. Let's see if we can get him to waste his Wandering Emperor and just put out a token that we can trade with. It's really his only option if that's what he's got as removal. Or to just take it and to hold on to the Wandering Emperor even longer. Alright, he's got a Fairy Mastermind. I doubt he trades with it, though. Oh, he's going to trade with it? Okay. I'm going to play out the Dire Flail. Because the Rabbit Battery being a surprise, it's still going to be able to swing next turn, you know? Even if we don't have it out right now. So I kind of like keeping it a surprise. We'll play Kellan. Your go, sir. I don't know what's going on. Hello? Hello? You are pretty special. Okay. 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 Hey, look at that. Look at that. Alright. No response. We're just gonna put everything on Kellan. Force him to have the removal. If he doesn't, he's gonna be in very bad shape. And that's that. Alright, he does have the Wandering Emperor. But I mean, we gotta force him to use it, right? We've still got value in our hand for next turn, especially when you consider the fact that we can get unblockable on whatever. Pretty much. And haste.
I have got new moves to teach you.
Hmm? One, two, one, 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 3, 4. That's probably the best. Probably the best we can do. Hello. We are playing a game of Magic the Gathering. I don't know if you know this, but it is a 2-player game where a certain etiquette is expected because there's another person waiting for you. Batterfist. The Boots. The Rabbit Battery. The Flail. And I wonder what his last card is. I wonder. We're gonna find out right now, I think. Nope, we kill the Emperor, bring him down to 18.
Never done for good.
And now we gotta race. We gotta race big time. Alright, he's got lethal next turn. I don't know if we can do 20 damage in one turn. 3. We can do 10. 10 is not enough, right? Alright, here's what we have to do. We have to craft the Dire Flail. Exile the Rabbit Battery. To make a blunderbuss. Then, we have to equip the blunderbuss to the Rebel. And then sacrifice. What artifact are we going to want to sacrifice? Batterfist, probably. I don't think it's enough. It might be. Does he have 2 guys? 2 man lands? He doesn't. He's only got the 1. He's only got the 1. Well, in case of a sweeper, we're actually going to equip the rabbit battery to the rebel here, because it will fall off and dodge the sweep. Oh, he's got us. Rafine's gonna put an extra counter on it. Oh wait, no. He doesn't have us. He brings us to 1, right? Yeah, he brings us to 1. So close. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. But ward is a pain. We need to win this turn. Which means we need to not let Rafine block us. Right? 3. 11. I don't know if we can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we do it like this. And then we do it like that. I guess we swing with the rabbit battery because we have no reason not to. And then we've got a big 6/5 flyer that's got Ward 2. So did he top deck removal? That's the question. If he did, he wins. If he didn't, I think we got him. Oh, that bastard. Yep, he's got us. He's got us. That was so close. Literally right down to the last mana. It took every single mana he had. If this had been a 3 mana removal spell, or if he had just 1 land less, that would have been it. Alright, we don't have any of our 1-drops, so this hand's a little bit slow, but I still think it's good enough to keep, so we're going to try it. We'll see what happens. We probably start with the Deserted Beach, unless we top deck a 1-drop. Alright. Play the beach. We'll canal on 2 into Batterfist. This person is apparently a bit late. That's fine. Batterfist. Seems pretty decent. Even if they kill the token, we get to keep the equipment, which means we get to keep the cost reduction on our Rebel Salvos, which is really nice. Opponent's gonna edict and make us sack the token. That's fine. We can deal with that. That's not a problem. I think what we want to do here is just use Birthright Boon to fetch a 1-drop. Against mono black, huh? We have so much removal. I almost feel like, you know what, let's grab the Cryptic Coat. Even though we can't play it this turn, we're up against mono black, and we have a ton of removal in hand. So if we can just power through their removal by repeatedly casting the Cryptic Coat and getting a new creature every time, we can probably win. I kind of want to Assimilation Aegis the Sheoldred, so I think I'm actually going to take the 2 here. Oh my goodness. Another Rebel Salvo. Alright, exile Sheoldred. Now we get to start making our own Sheoldreds, which is nice. A bit late. Is a bit late making his play. Come on, buddy. It's not rocket scientist. Not rocket. It's not rocket science. What if it is rocket science? What do you say when it is rocket science?
Out of my way. I have a wish. You fight for me now.
So, I think we just Cryptic Coat, hold up the Salvo, play a Coast, and pass the turn. We almost definitely kill the Vampire, especially before he gains life. And then we can swing in and kill Sorin next turn. I think it's worth letting him get a little bit of extra value. It's also worth forcing him to draw first before he realizes we're going to be able to swing in for 3 power. Because I think if he knows for sure Sorin is dead, we end up he ends up probably using Sorin to make another vampire. Did he pick the wrong thing? It's not a creature token. It's not a creature token, dude. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Malicious malfunction. Alright, so I guess we do a little bit of this. We could attach the Cryptic Coat. I think it's more fun to attach the Aegis. And then, no, you know what? Let's kill Sorin. And pass the turn. I want to hold up this Salvo just in case, but I also want to hold up the ability to return the Cryptic Coat to our hand. Although we did just use our only red source, so that's no bueno. I guess we're not holding up the Salvo. But luckily we didn't need to use it anyway. Just bounce the coat to our hand. And our opponent will concede. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe. circle below, do all the things.